Aircraft brokers weighed in on the issues facing the business aviation market at the recent NBAA Regional Forum in Morristown, New Jersey. BJT asked Joe Carfagna Jr. and Michael Dwyer for their views on the current state of the market.
The markets in general feels like they're starting to tighten up a little bit, and in some cases they've already tightened, where the supply of certain makes and models is becoming a little bit more scarce. So this is refreshing because it's really the first time in about 8-9 years that we've seen this happen. It feels right now that residual value versus what new pricing is, in most cases, is at a very attractive point in the pre-owned market, and that's why this supply tightening is starting to occur. It doesn't seem normal that in some cases the airplanes can get to a residual value that we used to see at 10 years old. They're getting it at 5 and 6.
So the pre-owned market extremely strong for the last 3 quarters, and I'm not even counting third. So 4Q, election year, activity's up, the volume's up. We're seeing the most activity in the longer range equipment, the international equipment, Gulfstream Bombardier, Dassault. Also the super mid-size, the flat floor, what I call the flat floor 3,000 mile airplane that's a great US domestic workhorse. And we're seeing inventory dry up in a number of acquisitions in all those markets, which hasn't happened for years. We're getting airplanes bought out from under us. So that's a very different thing. The other thing is that the pricing, we're not predicting pricing going up, but we're predicting it stabilizing because we're starting to see that. We're starting to hit the mark on what we project a sale price to be or a purchase price to be when we get to a closing, where we'd been kind of behind the 8 ball catching a falling knife for, since 2008. So that's a big improvement. I'm not a great economist. I don't see a GDP fueled recovery. I think there's a lot of, I think the political landscape inspired a lot of confidence, and that middle class buyer, the $100 million, $500 million company, all the way up to the high net worth individuals are just confident now in saying this is time to get in.
While demand is going up and inventory is becoming more scarce, so far this has been primarily in the U.S. market.
I think there's more U.S. confidence. I don't think we're seeing a swell yet from international. There's some signs of international reawakening, but it's not robust yet.
Well, primarily right now the buyers are in the United States. There are some overseas buyers, but as a rule of thumb, most of the buyers are here. So the buyers that are here would like to buy airplanes that are here. So the U.S. airplanes are getting sold first. That will leave the foreign airplanes to be sold next. And it remains to be seen how that really all plays out.
Possibly contributing to the improving market are customers who have been moving up from flying with services like fractional shares and jet cards.
I love fractional programs, flex jets, net jets. I love jet cards. I love Wheels Up, because what they're doing is they're bringing the new airplane person into the market, but at a much better level of equipment and service and reliability than they had that option decades ago. So if a new airplane traveler is breaking away from the airlines and starting to think about charter, he has so many more options. And that does nothing but feed our business in the brokerage business, because now those people, as their demand increases, it does it 2 ways. Number one, just the natural accumulation of, hey, this is great, I want to do more of it. But also now they're spoiled. Now they've been on new equipment and near new equipment with very high level of professionalism in the cockpit and in the cabin if they're in their that class airplane.
And finally, if you're an owner looking to take advantage of the improving market, Dwyer has a bit of advice. Keep your asset liquid.
From a buyer or owner's point of view, owning an aircraft, I think of it just like an asset in your portfolio. And so I want you to buy smart, but I want you to have your end game in mind, and I want to drive how you operate the airplane in the middle in that whole life cycle thought process. I don't want you to think about buying when you're buying and selling just when you're selling. I don't think that's when you should meet your broker, when I want to sell a plane. I want to convince you to do things that will maximize the value of your airplane, but also make it more liquid. I like cash better than I like stocks, better than I like, a real estate, because of liquidity, right? I like to make an airplane as liquid as possible, which means it's not just current on its maintenance, but its interior has been regularly refreshed, that the airplane's ready to go, that all the regulatory requirements that are coming in the next year or two are done in advance, not, oh, sell it for less. The old strategy of, oh, I'll just stockpile all the things I need to do to my airplane and sell it for less doesn't work in today's market. So I love liquid assets. That's why I like engine programs. We could talk for hours about engine programs and the cost effectiveness. It makes it a liquid asset, 0 time. So that's what I like about regular refurbishment, engine programs, and liquidity.